What is up, everybody? Spidey here, and as always, I hope you're having a marvelous day. I know that I am because I'm here with my friends, as you can see, and we have an OAX, CAX, IAX recap show. Did I leave one off, Kasra?
I got a few more in my back pocket, but yeah, that'll be next year.
Well, I tell you what, without whatever you have planned for the future, it was quite the show, and I'm excited to be with you all to talk about it. Over this shoulder is Eranga. What's up, my friend?
Hey, guys.
Exactly. To the other side of me, this way, is the one and only David Finch. Dave, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. This is a dream come true to have you on the channel. Really appreciate it. Just south of me, a regular Mr. Dan Dos Santos. How's it going?
Hi, guys. Woo. It's going well.
We'll get to Kasra last. I got Matt DiTullio, art rep. Yeah. And auctioneer, apparently.
And VPI. Very good auctioneer at that.
And Buffalo Bills apologist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we all apologize for you, my friend. And the one and only the CEO, Kasra Ghanbari. Did I say it right?
That works.
That works. Thought I'd try it. Well, first of all, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. And everybody, we got a ton of friends popping in. We got Russ. We got Run It Back. We got West Coast Dave. Everybody check out his videos at OAX. They're all really good. We got Stingray, our friend. What's up, dude? We got T-Bear. He's here. Oh, Eric Grove. How's it going? Who's the Dave
Eric
guy? You know him. I think you know. We got Lost here. He says, hey, guys, it was such a privilege to meet you all over the weekend. It's a privilege to meet you, my friend. That is for sure. Well, look, this is a recap show. I think everyone on the screen was at OAX in the inaugural event, right?
Yeah.
I think we were. We do have two more guests that should pop on any minute now. I hope they're able to make it. But I guess my first question was, I think we all had a really good experience in the inaugural event. How would you initially compare 2025 in comparison to the previous year? And why don't we start with Eranga?
Oh, come on, man. Okay. Compared to it was a little bit of a different experience for me. I was there year one as a collector. We had a section set up in Collector Island. I had a lot more time to explore the spaces on the show. On the show floor and kind of the different setups that they had. I felt like, this year I was there as an artist and completely different experience, different vibe. I gotta enjoy like a different kind of energy just on the show floor from people that were there and art collectors that were coming in. I will say if there's one gripe I had was that I didn't get to explore anything this year, which bummed me out. But beyond that,
is that because your wife was there? Is that
no? Yeah, my wife. Come on, she's had it before. She lets me free range.
Like a chicken?
Yeah. It was great. I'll tell you, having my wife there was fantastic to watch this thing happen through her eyes as well. She was like the point of view character in a movie for me. So that was pretty cool. No, I thought it felt to me like generally there never was a lull in foot traffic this year, whereas maybe last year I did notice a couple here. They're not significant lulls, but there seemed to be times when people were whatever, but it just seemed like there was an overwhelming sense of FOMO that not a lot of people left the show floor. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I thought it was terrific. Two different experiences for me between last year and this year, and gotta tell you, both were terrific. Loved this year.
Awesome. Dave, what about you?
I loved last year. It was my favorite show of the year.
Wow.
It's a different experience than a big convention with, the big broad range of fans of everything. And I love those too. But to go to a show where I knew almost everybody, and including collectors, so many collectors from all around the world were there last year. I talked to a lot of artists, and it was a successful show for all of us, which is, it's important. I mean, it is very important. And so that was very gratifying. This year was much more so. I saw collectors that I would normally only ever expect to see at like the biggest shows, or going to Singapore, or, places pretty far away. I think that people all around the world, collectors all around the world, and artists are seeing this show is like, it's the ideal venue for original art. It's there's nothing else like it in North America. And because it's small, it's just a nice, relaxing weekend. It was great.
That's wonderful. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of can go with a little bit with, what Eranga was saying. I felt like the only thing I didn't have was more time this year to be able to go out and actually maybe not experience everything, because I made sure to do that, but shop for myself. I wasn't able to do as much buying as I would have liked. Both of the Simones were very happy, so that's always first and foremost for me. DeMio and Bianchi both really enjoyed the show, and I think my biggest thing from first year to last year was just slightly bigger, majoritarily better. Because even though I think on the main floor where I was located, the foot traffic might have seemed a little bit slower, quote unquote. Every time that I went either to CAX or the IAX venues, there was always something going on. There was never a time where like the show floor was completely dead. There was never a time that I walked into IAX where nobody was in there. And there was never a time where I walked into CAX that nobody was in there. And personal highlight for me was going through the special galleries. I think maybe that, from what I've seen or something, maybe some people didn't get to spend the time because there was so much to, buy or to look for. But for me, as just an art fan, to get to walk in there and see the Crinkle, Frazetta, early, Black Panther, KKK pages, first Killmonger page. I mean, it was just absolutely historical stuff for me. So even though I was thankfully very busy, I made sure I took at least 15, 20 minutes on both days and just kind of soaked it up. So for me, I think it was better than last year. Obviously, always room to improve, but I also had a different appreciate it this year as, now being VP Ops and working with comic art fans, the amount of work and effort that goes into making this happen, to put it out there for the collectors is so much more than you could imagine. And having Kasra and Bill really spearhead it in having these new ideas and these new ventures, I think really paid dividends.
Wonderful.
I'm surprised you were at your booth at all, given the beauties and stuff like that too. Yeah, you had to miss out on watching the auction, which was really fun.
Yeah, and being the auctioneer was an absolute blast. I had Tatiana up there with me, who I've known for a long time, and it was kind of like a full circle moment. We had talked about literally last year in the penthouse, like, we could probably be good auctioneers, and we like each took a drink, like, we should do it next year. Completely screwing around and never knowing where we were going to be. And then all of a sudden, Kasra and Bill were like, "Do you guys want to be the auctioneers?" And we were like, "Well, we better stick by what we said." It ended up working out very well, and I had a lot of fun. So I hope everybody enjoyed that portion of it.
No doubt. Dan, what about you?
I think I loved both years. I think it was a little different for me this year because last year I only attended. I was just hanging out. So I got to just be a watcher, and I got to do everything. I got to look through the gallery multiple times. I got to like visit everybody twice. Like, it was super nice. This year was like, I abandoned my booth for like 3 hours to try to see the show floor. And I think I saw like a quarter of the things. I didn't get to see the special galleries, which stinks. I got to see like half the auction. And I feel like maybe, I didn't get to dig through any of the bins. There's so much stuff. Like, it is not a big floor, but it is dense. Like, it's dense. There's buckets full of paintings that I just didn't get to go through. But I enjoyed it. So I would say last year was purely just me enjoying a con just for attendance sake, and I really enjoyed that. And then this year was me working a con, and I have to say I enjoyed that more than usual too. It's a nice, manageable con. I think I was telling my friend that came with me that it's the only con I think I can think of right now that doesn't have like vendors mixed in with artists. There's no t-shirts or Funko Pops. It's just every single table I want to visit. Like, it's a little bang for your buck. It's good. I love that. So in the same way, like even exhibiting, like maybe it's not as much foot traffic as something like San Diego. You won't compare with that, but the quality of people coming in, every single person knew me by name, like, and I knew almost every single person that came in, which Dave was saying the same thing. Like, there's only a certain amount of like size con where you can really say like, yeah, I feel like it's still a family. I know everybody here. Yeah, it's a good sweet spot.
That's awesome, Dave. Steve, thank you for joining. The question that I offered to the group, and Kasra, I'm gonna get to you last if that's okay, was you were there last year. How would you compare the two experiences from 2024, the inaugural event, to 2025?
Yeah, it was great. There's still no Funko Pops there, not one in sight. So I wish there was two of me at this one because like there was so much going on, and there's a lot of events that we were doing, with the expanded gallery, and I was FOMOing because I didn't get to see the auction. I was up there getting the Magic the Gathering learning event, which went amazing. I'm so glad that we did that. But I had to get all that stuff ready for all the people that came up there, which I'm glad I did because there was a lot of people for that. So yeah, I just wish there was a lot more of myself that could go out there to buy some things in the comic book room. But when I did explore, I think Sunday was for me a bit more not relaxing, but like more exploring there. I got to see all the IAX booths. The highlight for me was the Julie Bell interview that Dan Ewer did and you, Justin. For me, that was incredible because I saw the Iron Man piece right next to them, and that's like one of my favorite artists of all time. So that was awesome to hear all those things too. Yeah, I mean, thank God for my parents who came with me to run the booth. I think if I didn't have them,
that is two Steves right there.
Yeah, exactly. My dad kept coming over to me like I'm watching the Julie Bell interview, like sneak by my side. He's like, "Steve, how much is this card?" I'm like, leave me alone right now. I'm trying to pay attention. But no, man, it was awesome. I think the other thing that I liked was just meeting everybody in person again, and even more because I think there's like near double. Just the people that we talked to on the Facebook groups and on streams, there in person, getting them to face was awesome. And then of course the artists, yourself, Dan, and Tony, and Simone. It was just awesome being there around all of that too. But yeah, I wish I could go back and do it all again.
Well said.
Kasra, you wish the same?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, can we get a monthly OAX? Is that what you're asking for, Steve?
Yeah, sure. You can come to my house though, and like look at some art there. We'll have a mini OAX.
Yeah. So Kasra, I mean, for those who are viewing who may not know, in a lot of ways, I think this is kind of your baby, and Bill's as well. But your hands are absolutely everywhere. And as the CEO of this event, for you, what are the two years? How do they compare? 2024 inaugural. You don't know how anybody's going to react, right? This is the new thing, and then those expectations get set in place because, as far as I know, everyone enjoyed 2024. You got to live up to those expectations and even exceed them. Give us your comparison of the 2 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over turning inside out, listening to everyone say such nice things to begin with. And then I'm trying to come up with a way to answer that question because my perspective or my experience is really, really different. And I'm glad we're having this show a week later because it's taken me the last week. I tell people the show is a complete blur. And I decompress for a week afterwards on my back porch with my dog watching videos. And I experienced the show mostly that way. I have a folder of 42 videos organized. Matt knows I've been sending them out to the group with notes telling them and it's just incredible. It's incredible. It really makes me emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
What I love is how everyone has a different experience there. It seems like there is so much going on, and there's some decision branching thing that goes on. Like there's some infinite play there. Steve would probably have a good analogy for it from the IT world, where everyone has a little individual adventure, and That's just incredibly rewarding to see. And for the first time, I just felt a sense of pride. I'm really proud of what the CAF team has done. Because the second year, as you alluded to, is really the test year. It's the weird year. I told everyone that it's the sophomore year. It's the chaotic, unpredictable. It's the true test year. I think when you get past the second year, you become a pro. If it's baseball or anything that you're doing, I see it a lot in sports and life and business. In creation, you get tested. Your intentions, the structure, the underlying components of it, all that. I can talk about this forever. I'm going to cut it off. I'm just going to say I came out of it proud that a tiny little group of people put this together, that we have a plan. It's been tested and stretched, but it held form, and we know what the hell we're doing. I can't tell you how good that feels.
I think the IT analogy, Kasra, is unstructured data that you had to defrag for a bit, but the data still persisted, and everybody was able to enjoy it and compress it internally. So it was awesome.
Just a little defragging. That's all.
We all could use a little more defragging. Some of us are married. Yeah.
Kasra, West Coast Avenger, who was at both years, and is what I would call a professional con show expert goer. Like, he's been to them all around the world. He's been doing it for a long time. And he says, your vision was fully realized, Kasra. For real. Everything you told me since Heroes was pulled off amazingly.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you. Now, it's taken on the personality of Bill, myself. Tatiana came in November as our director of events. We were super ambitious about the second year, expanding to the entire convention hall, creating and launching the Card Art Expo, creating and launching the Illustration Art Expo, which ties into how you present it to the world, production updates, and all kinds of just things that would bore you, expansion of the special galleries. Basically, all the things that were supposed to make year 2 easier, we just went 150% again. And Tatiana, I want to really call out her work in November, December into January, personally saved my life. I'll tell you that, and made the show much better. And the idea of her and Matt here picking his nose, being part of the team in 26, it's so exciting. It's just so exciting. It's not, I don't want to say too much there, but there's a lot more that we want to do at the show, and I think we can make it a regular, reliable, expanding, intriguing, annual, open-armed show. Yeah.
Well, as your friend, I want to tell you that if you just did this show again, just like it is, it's enough.
Yeah, you don't need to expand anymore, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that's what, by the way, I was fighting off a sneeze. You don't want an Italian guy repeating something. That would be like those progressive commercials where you're turning into your parents. It would be bad.
I weirdly had the same experience today, Matt. My mother's sneezes can be heard.
It's hard. I was fighting it because I was like, I can't sneeze.
Today, I was like, oh, that sounded a little bit like my mom.
But I think what Kasra and Bill have done about this that's great from seeing it from kind of both sides more recently is that we all agree with that. We just love this show. We love the way it is, but we have an ambitious leader, and there's a difference between being too ambitious and just ambitious enough, and not doing too much where things fall through the cracks and you lose the quality. Like I said, this year, the thing that I was the most proud of is that we really opened up IAX and CX for all different types of collectors, all different branches of it. And it wasn't a little, 5x7 room for either of them. But it wasn't a grandiose show floor. I think what was done and how this is scaled and how it, future continues to scale is it's very important, because the meteoric rise normally leads to a meteoric fall if you don't build it the right way. And I thought there was many people that just said, if OAX was just like it was the first year, I'd be happy. But then this year happened and everybody had an extra level of, terms of enjoyment, happiness, meeting new collectors, new people, new artists. I mean, I had so many people come up and were like, did you see the fantasy art over there? And of course they were talking about, Julie in the IAX room. And it was just the buzz that was going around was extremely cool. So I thought that was a big differentiator from last year, because I felt like there was more talking about different versions of collecting and how people collected themselves. And I think that's something that we all sorely missed. And that's why we all got into this, is to get around people that collected stuff, but, learn different things. I was so proud of Tatiana and Steve for doing that magic thing. I was very jealous that I didn't get to go there, because I don't know how to play and I want to learn how to play. And I got to tell you guys, just for me and all the groups I'm in and the feedback, like, that event went over like gangbusters. Everybody loved that event. And like, I'm going to make time next year, if there is one, and we're going to do something like that. I'm going to learn how to play Magic. I
even went very corporate. I had a PowerPoint presentation.
You did have a PowerPoint presentation.
A laser pointer. And
if you got there early, yeah, it was awesome. We had decks for everybody to bring home, and there was a mother and child that came there. They saw the poster that was made, and they're like, man, this looks fun. And they came up early, and they ended up leaving with a big smile on their face, and everybody else. Dan and I played our old school Magic deck the whole time after the PowerPoint presentation.
By old school, he means an alpha deck.
Yeah, alpha beta deck. Yeah, that was the difference from last year. Was that part? I think that went great. The box break battle was also a new addition. That one, learning from that, I think we a bit more prepared to make people aware like what it is, because once, Justin, you participated in that too. Once you understood what it was, then it's like, oh man, this is actually kind of cool. We can do something crazy with it.
For sure.
So yeah, so that's an example. I think I have a couple ideas to make it even bigger next time. Get some better cameras on that one. So that one went okay for the concept. And then the IAX room, CX room, they were amazing. Like, yeah, Matt, what you said about all that, I agree. The artists that were there showing their case, the Hildebrand memorial, Julie Bell, all the art there was just insane. I mean, it was great. I think expanding was a great idea.
I called the venue and I got all of the meeting space off the reception courtyard. And so we can do a much larger Magic event, and we can do it 24/7. You can 5, 6, 7 in the morning, make as much noise as you want. and the smokers, talking about you, Alonzo Collectibles, can step right outside in the courtyard, do what they do, and come back in too. So
I got it. Kasra, maybe we can expand it and have MAX next year. Max.
Max. I got it. Well, I'll take a stab at the question. So 2024 OAX was really special to me. I didn't know what to expect. The ability to build new relationships with artists was really special. But 2025 OAX was surreal. Number one, I got to bring my daughter, which, just adds a layer of special memory making, and for her to get a chance for the first time to meet this community that she hears about from me. She took a lot of positive views away from it. But probably the biggest takeaway I have from OAX 2025 is the space, Kasra, especially you created for us to exist as a community, specifically for Marvel trading cards. And the amount of collectors that I got to meet for the first time. I think about this in comparison, going back to 2021. I'm going through like Dallas Card Show, and I have Marvel cards, and I'm asking people if they know about them or if they have them, and they're kind of looking at me sideways. I literally have the gold 1-of-1 Spider-Man precious metal gem in my backpack, and no one really cares. To fast forward, 4 years later, we have the penthouse at a con, at an expo. And Kasra, like, there's a reason why you got the award for the 2024 Spidey Hits Marvel Champion of the Year, Marvel Card Champion of the Year. Is you, and you deserve it, because this is the one show a year that Marvel trading card collectors who love the cards and especially love the art and the artists that create them get to really celebrate our hobby with each other. And this year exemplified that even more than last year. And so it means a lot to me.
You still have that gold PMG?
We wouldn't, again, I just want to say real quick, I'm sorry, Stephen.
That's great.
We're not making CAX without Steven right here on the screen, and Jose Caballero and Matt Fuller. It's not happening. I'm not qualified. I had a lot of ideas. I could make it compatible with OAX. I could set it up. I could do a lot of it. It is 100% because Steven and Jose existed, and Matt is just a beautiful human being that I like to kiss on the cheek. That is the reason why there's CAX. And more importantly, you know, any one of us as individuals could have put the first year together for CAX. Right now, doing year 2 and 3 and 4 and how we build it out and the choices that we make is going to be the real test, and is where these gentlemen are going to shine the most as far as how important it is to them and their knowledge and their creativity. So thank you. It was overdue for the community. It is an amazing community. I say it again, I've missed out for 30 years being in that community, and I'm making up for lost time. And after watching 1,000 YouTube videos, I was sick of it and wanted a place to meet up too. So you can imagine, like in 18 months, I tried to catch up for 30 years. But let's have this conversation again after year 2 and 3, and then these guys' faces are going to be the reasons for it.
Yeah, and Justin, you know, used a really good word like surreal. For me, it was really cool because I had been in the original art game prior, and then 2018 hits, and I got really involved in the trading cards because of Simone. So I had gotten to see more people that I had gotten to know over the last 5, 6, 7 years that were coming in and are now buying original art that I knew were only collecting trading cards. And then when original art, I can say this because I'm a collector. We're all crazy. I'm like, we all have these niche collections and how we do things and specific artists. And then I got introduced to the card world, and I'm like, wait a second, we're normal compared to these card collectors. They're super crazy. It is like a whole different ball game. And to see, like when you said when you went to, you know, the National, and you had like a little corner that had a couple booths with Marvel cards, and like, to see where it's come to now, it was really cool to see these communities not only like meshing, but blending together, and like card people talking to art people talking to card people, buying original art. I know some people that weren't buying cards went over and saw your booth, saw, Alonzo Collectibles buying some cards. I had a guy come up to my booth and was like, I love Simone's card set. I started collecting, and then I got some of the 2020 stuff. I like that artist too. I was like, do you know he's here? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, Dave Pombo. He's in that room over there. He was like, oh my God. Went right over. Like, it was such a cool blend for me. And I really enjoyed seeing everybody in their element. Everybody just seemed happy, and card collector, art collector, whatever. We're all collectors. And to see everybody like that, it was really cool for me. I just saw two communities seamlessly blend together and have just a great time for 2 days. It was really cool.
Can I make one thing clear too? I'm sorry, I really want to hear from everybody else, but I just want everyone to know that even before CAX was formed, I was very, very, very committed to sketch cards as a format, as a conduit. I really feel like one of the mandates, one of the core things we're trying to do with Comic Art Fans is bring more people to collecting comic art, or by extension narrative art, and really fundamentally art, which is personal to me. Just the idea, I want people to know that they can have an own art, that they can put it on their wall. It is a moment in a person's life. It is a sort of an intoxicating breakthrough, social oppression, I won't go too far on it, moment. I mean, it's very enabling as a human being to know that you can own art, and we feel like narrative art is really the next great widespread social art form, up to the museum level, that it is a little bit of an answer to how 30 or 40 years of modern art to a great deal has separated itself from people and failed us. And as silly and grandiose as that all sounds, I really feel like sketch cards are a primary weapon to be deployed, to use military and business words, whatever it may be. It is a way for
deploy the sketch cards.
And the free sketch card event on Sunday is just a small part of that. We're going to roll out many initiatives, ideas. It's the gateway drug. So
That's
we're
really
committed.
smart.
We're really
That's
committed to
super
it.
on point, honestly. I think
Yeah.
every artist I know can point to an aha moment that they were like, oh, someone drew this. Oh, I could do this thing. Like there was something that clicks. And it's the same thing with original art. It's amazing how many card collectors don't actually collect the art. And even for those people still at that level, that there really is a click sometimes.
I didn't know I didn't know that people made comic books when I was 4 and I was reading them. And it was only when I saw a really weird name, Sienkiewicz, that I realized, well, this guy has a really weird name. He must be a human being.
Yeah.
That's the level of that's the little psyche shattering
Arts
thing,
are a
right?
great
Yeah.
distribution method for those epiphanies. They really are.
That's
And
right.
they're trading cards. They're meant to be distributed and traded, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like now at this, participating in this too, bringing a lot of the art. When I was younger, I used to trade all the cards with my friends, and now it's like escalated. It's like grown up now. I'm trading some of my art with my friends of the trading cards, which it certainly am.
That's a different level.
Yeah, another level. It's like we're next level, tier 4. I think like also like I completely agree with you, Kasra, about like deploying sketch cards to to weaponize them. Because living in Miami, Art Basel kind of like was my first experiment with like, let me put these card art out there and see what happens. And I'm glad I did, because I met Jose and others through that. But there's a lot of crap art out there today, and a lot of people don't know about this. When they see it, they're just amazed how awesome it is. Like when I had the gallery with Simone's art there for the first time, they would look at it and they would have the card next to it, and people would pass by. They'd be like, "So are you the artist?" I'm like, "No, this is like the art of the card. So this is the card, and that's the art of the card." "Oh, so like they drew the card?" I'm like, "No, the card is the art." Never mind, forget it. It's like a whole another thing they're not aware of. And this is now having this community is like everybody appreciates it, everybody understands it, everybody's excited about it, and it just the narrative art is it's now having a home to like live and people to appreciate it, and it's going to grow from there.
It allows you to attach these wonderful memories that are being created in these moments that are happening with the artist to something that was created right there for you in the moment. And I know that's, there are other ways to do that on, comic covers and things like that. But this is just, I don't know, something about the
There's
trading
something
card.
about it. Thank God.
It's a different type of feeling. And to expand on like a much more macro standpoint, it's like I was telling some people at the convention that were card guys or that were like newer, and I think sometimes this may get overlooked, so I just have to mention it, is like I just am so thankful that we have a place like this, like OAX, but I'm also so thankful for the David Finches, for the Dan Dos Santoses, for the Dave Palombos, the Simone Bianchis, the Brian Stillfreezes, because I hope this community, and I could go on with names, the Julie, but I'm just naming a couple, but I hope this community realizes that like this is the medium that they paint for us. They could be painting landscapes and be doing great. They could be painting fine art and be doing great, but they've throughout their career, somehow, one way or another, they did have a moment where they made a choice that this is where they were going to end up. And I'm so appreciative of that artists like you guys take time out of your published work, your deadlines of getting things done, and come to shows like this and do a free sketch card for an hour, or just stand and get to talk to David Finch, to walk down to another room and get to say hello to Julie Bell and her son, Dave Palumbo, to turn around and see, Miles Wohl and, all these guys. It's like walking from studio to studio to studio and getting to see people create in front of us. So it's the venue is amazing, but it's really the vessel to get the artists in to just show what these guys are creating and these girls. And it's such an amazing thing. So I think sometimes it gets lost and, maybe underappreciated that they could be doing something else, but they're doing something they love, which we in turn love. And each piece that's out there, it just creates a moment. And when you can pick one of those up, and I'm not even talking about buy, pick one up and hold it it's like I'll never forget the first piece of original art I held. I can tell you exactly what it was, when it was. I was like shaking. I felt like I was going to spit on it. I was nervous. I just turned it back around. I'll never forget that moment, and it's what started me to get to where I am. So I gotta say, for all the artists to take the time to come and be active in the community, and you get to talk to people who really appreciate your artwork, it's just a super special thing.
Yeah, the artists are taking the time to come tonight too. So if we don't hear from David, Dan, and Eranga soon, I'm going to turn my video and sound off. Yeah,
and we need to, but I do want to add something to Matt said, which was my experience. Was it Sunday? The free sketch card event, I think, was what were the times for that, Kasra? Help me out.
2 to 3:30.
Yeah.
And it's 5:45, and there are artists still doing sketches. Dan, how long did you go?
I don't know.
Dan was drawing out in the.
You went a lot longer. I hope you know what it means to us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a special thing.
Really is special.
At that point, it honestly, it's a lot of the cons I choose to do are, it sounds weird to say, fan service. Like I could do I'd rather be home painting, honestly. Like that's my real job. Like going to a con to make money is not usually the point. You go there to see your friends and meet the community. And most of the stuff I had in my booth was already, if it was for sale, it was already sold at that point. So that last day, it was like, yeah, painting, doing sketches for people sounds just right. Like that's why I'm here.
Sounds like a nice con.
Yeah. So for you guys, and I want you to ask each other questions too. But like, what was your big moment? Like, you got home, your family said, how was it? Like, what's that moment that really stands out to you the most that you experienced? And we'll come back to Eranga again.
I think you should let Dave talk.
Well, Dave's next.
I forgot what
one
sounded like.
I got a Walking Dead cover, look, from the original series, which was such a big deal. I was just walking in; it was the first day, and I was trying to get to my table because I'm always late. And
a Tony Moore cover?
What's that?
A Tony Moore cover?
Charlie Adler. Yeah. So I ended up trading for it because that I can get away with. I can't bring art home because it was not super cheap, And yeah, if my wife saw it, it would be the end. So I traded art, and then I could kind of keep it on the down low. But yeah, that was a big deal for me. There was everywhere I looked, there was just so much amazing art.
Dave, do you have it nearby?
I don't know.
Oh,
no.
Man.
I should have thought of it. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. I'd love to show it.
Yeah, that is awesome. All right, Eranga, what about you?
Oh well, I tend to get like
Hey,
really.
Eranga,
All right.
I want to hear what you're saying, but your audio is weird. Do you mind checking on that? And then
Can you hear me now?
it's doing some kind of weird.
Getting like a
Oh.
reverb.
Oh, that's really strange.
That's all right.
How about
Why don't you
now?
work? It's still doing it. Why don't you work on it for a second? We're gonna come back to you. Okay. Thanks. Dan, we'll go to you. We'll hit the artist first.
Oof. I don't know if I have one single highlight. Let's see. Things that stuck out to me. Let's see. Sales were phenomenal. Like seriously, the first
Beautiful.
10 minutes, like I've never had that busy of a con as the first 10 minutes. Like the booth was ransacked, which I'm really appreciative of. That interview with Julie was a highlight. Some collectors gave me some gifts that were really touching and nice that I keep thinking about that were really nice. The auction was a highlight. I'm glad I got to make time for that. The magic thing, the event was a highlight. A couple paintings on the floor that just stuck with me. Like having Ian Bertram there, he brought these sketchbooks that he's been drawing on for 20 years, and they were bonkers. Those things will stay in the back of my head forever. Chris Stevens brought this big Spider-Man painting that he did as a personal piece. That was just nuts too. Like I wanted to steal that thing so bad. There were just like little moments here and there, just like if I remember anything from a con, like every con is one big blur in my head of the same people, all over the globe, taking these little tidbits that I end up taking away. It's usually these weird little moments or paintings. There were so many good ones this weekend.
That's awesome. Eranga, how do you sound now?
I don't know. How do I sound now?
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah, right.
Hey!
Hey, Eranga, the government stopped listening. Go ahead.
Daily thing with me, man. So I get a little geeky once I leave a show. I kind of get into a little bit of the analytics of it. So I kind of make a list of all the people who bought from me, whether it's a pre-show commission or commissioned me at the show, or like getting sketches, or the people that bought like the pre-done stuff that I brought. Interesting thing, like this was without a doubt the most successful con I've had, flat out, not even close. It was Heroes last year for a long time, and then this flat out the most successful. But more than that, one of the cool parts was when I crunched the numbers, north of 75% of the stuff I sold were to new buyers, like people who never bought from me before. 75%. That's a ridiculous number. I mean, it's and I think that speaks a little bit to, you know, the trust that it engenders when you're part of this kind of show, that you're there, that when you're doing pre-show commissions, and OAX puts their name on it, you know, it gets delivered, etc. So that was one. I found another really cool thing was whoever's idea it was to let the art school kids in. I thought that was incredibly smart. I'm assuming they got in free, because there's no way, if they were affording those tickets, I'm not. Did they not get in free? Kasra,
Can you
come on.
confirm that, Kasra? You charge them?
I'm already talking to the dean of Ringling and several other schools so that they can arrange buses to bring more students next year.
Kasra, I'm glad to hear that, because that's kind of like we had talked about before, about possibly having at OAX or IAX like a class where, you know, Eranga or Dan or somebody can have like a 2-hour like lesson about, you know, painting, you know, there, like a classroom event from like the masters. When I used to love that when I play music, so when I was learning guitar, I would go to, and if I saw like some guitar god like teaching some stuff there, I'd be like, oh my god, this is insane. So that resonate with those art kids.
Yeah,
too.
no, it was super cool. Like I spent, you know, people come like ask questions about like the tools that you use. You know, they take a look at the pre-dones and they're like, hey, what kind of media? And they take guesses at what kind of brushes or pens or whatever you use. Josh Kasara, who was sitting next to me, had a prelim, and he at his table he just gave it to one of the kids and got, I say kids, whatever, they're probably, I don't know how old they are, but they're pretty young. But he gave them the prelim and got them to ink it. What a cool freaking exercise that is, right? Like his red pencil prelim, you know, and you get to ink a contemporary artist. Oh, I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And then of course I got a Dale Keown panel page from like the friggin' book that got me into collecting when I was a kid. So that was pretty neat. That was that was part of why this was the most successful show I had, and still left with $0.
That's the way it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Keep it in the family.
Can I ask one more question to Dave and Dan?
Yeah, please. And then
I know you guys.
We'll get to Steve.
I've seen sketch cards you guys do, right? Like, and they're freaking phenomenal. I struggle like crazy. I'm fairly new to doing sketch cards, and it's like guys like Justin that have kind of pushed me into, you got to do sketch cards. And as a guy who's like 45 years old, right? Trying to draw at that size, like I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm doing 18 by 24s and 11 by 17s. Trying to do a sketch card at that size and then trying to figure out the perfect what to put in there, whether it's, you know, just a bust or a torso. My biggest challenge is eyes. Like trying to draw eyes on, because literally it's like 4 ticks so close together, and the whole eye itself is about yay big on the card. You guys
Yeah,
just
my challenge is my eyes on those
Pupilless
cards.
eyes?
I can't do tiny things on them anymore. It's too hard.
At home, I have a giant magnifying glass.
Yeah.
He's
I
doing
have this
just fine,
thing.
by the way.
I have this sucker that I'll like put on my head.
Oh,
there
funny.
you go.
And I'll get in there, and I'll use like a 0.005 micron to get in. But no, I don't know how you guys do it, and you guys do like fantastic. Like you draw on sketch cards about as well as I could draw on 11 by 17. So I'm wondering, teach you guys some
Wow,
tricks
man.
here. What's going on?
Well, I haven't really done a lot of cards, truthfully. So it's 11 by 17, but I have had to draw a lot of tiny little heads because this narrative storytelling. Hey, yeah, I did that
Yeah,
one.
look at
There you go.
Secret is you shrink yourself to be really tiny so the card expands, and then you just paint it.
That's right. Then you get it all in there.
Giant pen.
But I just,
Yeah.
for me, I'm a huge fan of Alan Davis. There are a lot of artists that do it so well, but my big one for really small faces that are really, and I can't draw them as well as he can, but really reducing things down to just simple, almost like negative shapes, you know? So you're not really drawing a nose, you're drawing just like a little triangle where the nostril and shadow would be, that kind of thing. That's kind of how I learned it.
Gotcha.
I love hearing you say that, Dave. That makes so much more, because I'm an Alan Davis fan as well and a fan of you, but now it makes sense that those two are connected.
And yeah, when you're doing storytelling panels and you're doing a small panel with a small face in there, I mean, you get a lot of practice drawing at that size.
For sure, yeah.
Either that or you just say, let the inker deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some of Dan's.
Spidey's great.
There's your
Yeah,
answer. Yeah, just draw
I
Spidey.
don't do that well on the spot. It's horrible on the spot.
This is fantastic. Come on, stop that.
Just draw,
What about you, Dan? Similar philosophy? You just kind of figure out, like, just break down shapes and don't try to put, like...
No, I found, like, on the cards, I kept treating them like mini paintings, and that doesn't work. That'll just, like, it's not effective for the painting or the card. And I found I need to do busts. A head about that fills 3/4 of the card. That's it. Don't get fancy and just do that. And then it makes it a little better. That's about the size head I can draw well, I think. Like there's certain size heads that are easy to draw. Like I could draw like a head this big, or I could draw a head this big, but in between it gets weird, or too small it gets weird. There's a spot on the card.
That's
Yeah, like see,
That card killed me, man. It killed me.
That's one of those terrible Eranga cards.
Yeah, it's one of the terrible ones.
Thanks, Kasra.
You
He
could
needs
just
a
draw
lot of coaching, guys.
Modoc every time. It's just a big head, and then Kasra.
That's a good solution. Actually.
You could do iBoy, and they'll give you all the practice you need with those.
Eranga.
Eranga would love iBoy. So many eyes.
I boy, just with the head about yay big on the card.
Yeah.
Eranga, I've also heard a lot of people have asked Bianchi that question because it's the same thing for him. So I know his answer. It's 18 by 24 most of the time. I'm like small is medium 16 by 20, and then small is 11 by 17, and then he goes to a sketch card. And for him, it's about getting in a rhythm. So he takes the sketch card, sketches it out, and he rips like 8 in a row, just rough thumbnails. And he just tries to get into a rhythm of getting the proportions to the card, and he just leaves them real loose. Then he goes over again to get, a little bit more of the details. And then when he feels comfortable for laying down the lines and then painting over top is when he moves to the sketch card. But he never just starts with the sketch card and goes right in. He just takes the card, traces around it, and rips off to get himself into a rhythm, because when you're going from this, to this, it's a drastic change in proportion, how you lay things out. And Dan said it best. What Simone says is with the sketch card is you have to know where to stop and let the eye link the piece together instead of putting all the details in there. Because if you try to keep detailing it in there, it doesn't do the card or the painting service. It just drives you crazy. So you almost have to look at it as a completely different thing, like Dan said, not as a mini painting, as its own way. Otherwise you're going to drive yourself, especially like Simone and Dan that are doing like the individual painting. It can get really like tense when you're trying to pack all that detail in there.
Yeah. No, I'm still trying to find that happy medium. I should get there at some point.
I'm a very proud sketch card owner of yours, my friend.
Well, thank you, Justin.
it looks really good in the binder next to a lot of the artists that you mentioned. So for me, like the big aha moments were, I think really has to start with Friday night in the Penthouse with Dan and me and Lewis and everybody that came through there. That was a blur. The people out there was really a blur. And we did a whatnot break for those who don't know, where we opened up a case of 2022 Marvel masterpieces. And that event feels like it's going to have long-term rippling effects. I don't really know how well to put language around what I mean by that. I just have a sense that was a monumental moment that afternoon, and really appreciate Dan participating. But it was everybody that participated. It was incredible. The other was, I'll skip ahead to not take up too much time, but the Magic the Gathering evening in the Penthouse as well, Saturday night. I feel like we're going to look back at that evening and point, we're going to point to it as a special moment in time for particularly Marvel card fans, learning how to play Magic the Gathering with the MTG Marvel collaboration that's happening. It's already started, but it's like really happening this year. I think we're going to look back to that event and the people who got to be in that room. I think we're going to feel really grateful that we were there.
I
You feel like you learned, Justin? You feel like you can play now?
Well, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question. What did you say, Dan?
I stayed there until like Tatiana kicked me out. It was a fun night.
Yeah, it was incredible. I've never played Magic the Gathering. Shout out to Sid and Tatiana. I'm trying to think of who else. I'm going to forget names. Donnie. They were all teaching us how to play. And I started out with a Foundations deck, which is like a pre-made deck, and quickly moved up to a Commander deck and played Tatiana. And I beat Sid, by the way. Sid has been playing since 1995, and my third game ever. Played him and beat him. The cards were kind to me. I'll just say that. Right? But Tatiana immediately was like, "Yeah, you're ready for a Commander deck," and gave me a Commander deck. I played her. She destroyed me, by the way. Rightly so, but she was a great teacher, and very grateful to her. She actually loaded me up with a bunch of Magic the Gathering stuff, including the Commander decks and other stuff that I haven't even got to really dig through, so I could come home and continue to play moving forward. So just a super special night, Steve. Truly appreciate. I honestly, I know you're an incredible person, and that you're able to do a lot more than the average human being. I already know that about you, and I still don't know how you did everything you did for the weekend in light of everything else you have going on in your world. I hope you're able to get a lot more help moving forward. But
I wish I was there for that Friday night. Actually, that sounds epic because I had another conference I was hosting that and flew in there. But now I feel like I missed out if it was that special, especially on 22, breaking 2022, my favorite thing.
It was really special. I don't know if they'll ever duplicate it again. It was just had all the right ingredients at the right moment. Was really amazing.
That's awesome. I'm impressed that you did Commander from not knowing anything to Commander in one night. That's a win.
Yeah, awesome. Could I have better teachers? I don't know that I could. It was incredible.
That's awesome.
The other two, there's a lot of wow moments. I hate I'm leaving some out, but I got to really know, better context. People are coming around my booth and showing me these pages from Herman Peralta of Magic for a new issue of Magic issue number one. And, as a Magic collector, I'm speaking of the X-Men character, by the way, it's like your heart's hurting because those pages are out there and you can't leave the booth, and people are buying them, right? And you're like, oh, I'm going to miss out. But just stayed patient and eventually got to go at the end of the day on Sunday. And there were 2 pages there that would have probably been the same 2 pages I would have purchased if I was first in line to get them. And then I got to build this really special relationship with Herman, and he did this Magic sketch for me there.
Cool.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, that's great.
He's a beast.
That's a good one.
He's
Yeah.
a beast.
But what even like obviously a great artist. He was so sweet to talk to. Just seemed like a real humble artist, and I'm looking forward to see him have continued success. But also really special is as we're leaving the show. It's Sunday. We're leaving the show, and David Finch says, "Hey, here's your sketch," and I hope you know how much this means to me, Dave. Super grateful to add this to the collection, and that was a big wow moment for me.
Well,
Justin,
thank
I think your head's gonna explode when there's a magic on a magic card.
I actually was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, oh, man, that's going to be insane. What about you, Steve? What was your big wow moment?
So many big moments. Well, I mentioned before, like the Julie Bell interview and some of the other things too. Actually, nobody mentioned this. This was a huge, like for me, gratification was these the cards that we made for it from all the artists. You know, giving these out and like they came out really good. You know, from the boxing battle. You know, thank you guys for all the artists. You know, PJ, there's Simone. Thank you guys for that. So I'm just happy that these came out good and people like them. They love them. So you know, it's part of the trading card. You know, the CAX gallery is all about the trading card art, and it's cool because the concept was, you know, artists that are there have their own you know, art or booths or galleries there. Had a trading card, you know, so that was pretty awesome. And so I think that, you know, everything else, like we had mentioned before, the Magic event was awesome because I like Magic just as much, if not more, than Marvel cards. So seeing those worlds about to collide and people wanting to learn it and really enjoying it was a pleasure. So yeah, those are my big highlights.
Awesome.
I don't know how I missed that. That's a personal highlight for me as well. To have drawn the X-Men on a freaking trading card. Get out of here, man. That was like like kid dreams.
You
That's
did.
like kid dreams come true. Yeah.
OAX. The artist sitting right there. The artist right in front of me. Look,
the eyes came out pretty good on it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
How epic was this weekend that I just did my wow moments and doing an interview with Dan DeSantos of Julie Bell and Dave Palumbo somehow slipped my mind. But seriously, a huge highlight. I think, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but they said that was the first time they've ever been interviewed together. So,
did they say that? I think so. Maybe so.
I think they did. And she told me how special that was for her as a lifetime collector of Marvel cards. Super special moment for me. I think in that interview, getting her to talk about the 1996 redemption cards and paintings and where those might be, the mystery that's there was a really cool moment as well. Just love that opportunity was created.
We got to find out about that event that she mentioned, Justin, like where there was a bunch of you know, I guess corporate people that got together for something.
Yeah, I wish you and I had the time to like create a whole documentary of like research and figuring it out and hunting them down.
Oh, don't challenge me. You know I will. I'll find out.
Yeah. Hey, look, let's do it. I'm all about it. Matt, what about you? What was your big takeaway moment?
Let's see. Number one, personal collection. I got to pick up the two pieces behind me over my head from Steve, the Joe Jusko Black Bolts from 2016.
Wow.
So Black Bolts from base card and Battle Spectra from Jusko. I have the Black Bolts base card and Battle Spectra from 2018. And then from Bianchi. And then there was no Black Bolt in 2020. So I was able to get the commission from Palumbo. So that was really cool. And then I'm working on getting the Black Bolt from Dan. I have
that Palumbo commission, by the way, is great.
Excuse me?
That Palumbo commission is
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I always say like,
oh, is that yours?
Yeah, I've learned from being a collector. It's very like throughout the years. It's just I just now say Black Bolt and let him run. And what Dave delivered, I gave him no composition, no torso, head up, full body. And what he came up with was a composition I've never seen before for Black Bolt. And I absolutely loved it. So when you can just let the artist be an artist and do whatever they want and have kind of like blind trust it works out amazing. So I know as maybe an early collector, it gets a little, you're hesitant because you want Peter Parker hanging upside down over the Daily Bugle with Jameson. Just let them roll because this is what they do, and it's such an amazing thing when you get to see it. So that was really.
I love that you said that because I people all the time they're like, "What do you tell the artist when you do a commission?" I'm like, "The character."
It's the
sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes I just give them a list of characters and
I mean, it's tough because you see it maybe one way in your head, but I just think the best way is just give them the character and let them roll. So that was really great. Then being the auctioneer was definitely a highlight for me. I had an absolute blast. It was super fun. It was a great experience for Tatiana and I to share together. And then the last one would be the sales. Like Eranga said, it was DiTullio Art Collective's best show, and both of my artists had amazing shows, and they come first for me. So if they're happy, I'm happy, and they were. So it was a win-win weekend for myself, and I felt very thankful for it. So that was it for me.
I'm glad that you enjoyed the Just Go. Sunday morning, the first thing I did, I got up, got coffee.
That was the only time I saw you.
Hand delivered.
I was like, thanks for my grails. Bye, Steve. See you later.
Yeah, see you later. Well, come a long way. It's like, the first time I met you up in New York Comic Con when, go and pick up the Bianchis. I was like, forget the comic books. I want card art because OAX didn't exist. And it was like, the only thing is like, Simon Bianchi's here. I'm going to go there. And I met you. I think you were getting some stuff too. That was like the origins of like our crazy card art collector people that are like just congregating too. Now we have OAX and CAX, so we all
have an event. It's a great thing.
Kasra, what was your? Do you have? I know it's hard to distill it down in one moment. I get it.
You remember anything?
But that's one of those. But
I want you to try.
Yeah, I can't. You have to realize that as much as hard as you work on the show, and it's a bit of luck and things falling forward, it's still built on the backs of the artists. They're the ones that work the hardest, that give the most, and that shortchange themselves to some degree. We can go into the whys of that. That's fine, but they're always the ones that hold the power and that create the joy. And then it's built on the backs of the raging drive of the art reps and the art dealers to succeed. You can attach whatever words that you want to it, and you can judge their intentions and do whatever you want, but they want to succeed. In the case of the reps, they represent artists. In the case of the dealers, they are out there working very hard to find artworks and help people find what they're looking for as well. And then ultimately, it's built on the backs of the collectors and incredible expression of passion and emotion and worth of these things that we collect and share with one another. So that's hard to ignore.
For sure. So guys, what advice would you give to either collectors who haven't been before, would show up next year, artists who haven't been but may be invited next year, and then for you, Matt, art dealers or art reps who have not been, who might come next year? What advice would you give? And Dave, if I could, I'd like to start with you. So maybe for the artists.
Well, I definitely recommend going, but I feel like I'm a little late on that one. If people are going, so everybody knows about the show. It's an original art show, so bringing a lot of original art, and it's a place where you can sell the most expensive pieces you have down to the less expensive stuff. I feel like I have no good advice. It's just a great show to go to.
Yeah.
Wish I could help more, but yeah, really,
Just go see for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you. Matt, what about you?
Oof, man. For me, I don't know. I'm kind of like Dave. I would say it's something. I know it's like super cliche, but like you have to experience it for yourself to understand, because it's like everything that we used to love before we started like lining up shoulder to shoulder and like trying to leave your booth to go to the bathroom that takes 50 minutes just to get to, and try to get back through the crowds and the pillows and the Funkos and the t-shirts. Like, everybody there, it was so cool for me as an art dealer that people would just come up and they knew what they were looking for. Like, you got any like Granoff pages? I was like, you bet. You know, people were coming up like, you have any Silvestri Spider-Man? I was like, no, but Berkey does. Go talk to him. It just, everybody knew, and I'm sure from like the artist end, because I heard people coming up to like both of the Simones, like, it's so crazy refreshing to me when somebody doesn't walk up with 75 books and is like, sign them. That's really nice because we make some money and it all feels good. But when somebody walks up and they're like, hey, when I read Batman and Robin #3 and I saw your design of Man-Bat, it really inspired me to draw. And you hear that conversation between like DeMio and an art student. It's, to me, that's more what it's about. So I thought it was just, my advice would be go and bring a variety, because there's collections of every level. I was selling things that were $100 and things that were, you know, 20,000. So having like Finch said, having everything in between and understanding that everybody there is coming with some sort of agenda, even if it's just attend and buy or they're looking for specific things. So bring a variety, and this is the crowd. Everybody's coming, you know, for original art. It's super great to see that we can fill up not just a room, but 3 rooms, 4 rooms, 5 rooms. And guys, what I loved about it too is there was I didn't see one argument. I didn't see anybody raise their voice. There was no pushing. Everybody, maybe Tony was upset that the sandwiches were a little small and he wanted to talk to me. But other than that, it was the vibes were just great. Like, I would say,
not to be understated, by the way.
The vibes were great. It was crazy.
Yeah, I left my booth just totally unattended for 3 hours. I would never do that at any other time. Ever. You'd come back to an empty booth. No way. But it was like, I was like, yeah, I don't know. Everybody here knows everybody. Like, there would be some accountability. Nobody's gonna walk off with my painting and not get caught. Like, that's nice.
I thought about that Modoc painting though, Dan. I thought about it.
I would have gone to you first, Kasra.
Yeah,
we all have our own version of a fingerprint
around him. Hey, where'd you get that? Do you know, Dan? Where'd that come from?
Well, Dan, what about you? What advice would you give to artists?
Not dissimilar. Just go. I think, like David said, it's definitely, like the name is true, Original Art Expo. Like, normally, I did okay on prints only if they were card related things. No actual print sales, like or very little for just prints. But yeah, mostly I would say, like, yeah, bring somebody to help you so you get to see the con. I did not get to see everything this year, even with help. That's about it.
I just want to say quickly, I saw in the comments somebody mentioned something about sketch list filling up. Talking to an artist directly before a show, arranging a sketch before a show is the best way to go. Showing up in the morning, a lot of artists have sketch lists that are kind of mostly full with only a few spots. A lot of stuff is prearranged. I'm sure, Matt, that you do a lot of that too. So, you know, if you're looking for a sketch, you know, contact Matt beforehand, and it works out a whole lot better.
Agreed. Yeah. We had to, unfortunately, and I'm sure it was the same with Jason, you know, we had to turn a couple people away that were looking for some bigger pieces. And I'm like, guys, it just, there's not enough time. It's a 2-day show and everything was, you know, pre-set up. So, but it's a good thing because it just shows that people are, you know, they're hungry, they're looking for new stuff. And, yeah, I think that the more we can do pre-show and give the artist time, and it's an amazing feeling when you can go and pick up a piece, you know, from the artist directly. Doesn't matter, you know, if it's pre-show or in front, but I think pre-show is always the way to go, as Dave said.
Beautiful. Eranga, how about you?
Well, one bit of advice I definitely had for collectors was the pre-show lists for sure, right? Take advantage of it. It just gives you so much more time to do other things during the con instead of trying to get to an artist table first thing. And you're giving the artist the ability to do something in the comfort of their own studio, and often get a better product. That's just the way it is. I will say there is a misconception floating around that this show OAX and shows of this nature and original art, that it's designed for high rollers. I don't know where that narrative is floating around, but I've seen it. I've seen it a lot online. And I think it's important to say there's something for every budget at this show. If you want a $50 sketch or something along those lines, I mean, not everyone's doing it, but you will be able to find an artist that can do something along those lines, whether that's a remark or I don't know, just anything like a sketch card. I think it's a mistake to relegate this show as something you can only come to if you've got a ton of money and it's like different from other shows. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of people getting books signed and stuff like that, and I'm sure there were. Original art is for everybody. It's not a bougie selection. Trust me, if you saw the people that were hanging out after hours, this was at 4 a.m. This is not a bougie crowd. I'd say it's a very open community. If you've never taken part in this as a collector, it's a very open and it's a very welcoming community.
Eranga,
show up, get a ticket, show up.
How many kosher ham sandwiches did you have around that fire pit at 4 a.m.?
Man, it was
kosher ham sandwiches.
It was gross how many I ate.
I watched you.
I was so hungry. I think I made 3 on a park bench. Someone brought a loaf of bread and a bunch of deli meats, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was starving. So I made some sandwiches. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah, and just before we get to Kasra too, one thing I forgot to highlight for me was the bub crawl. I thought I don't know if anybody else went on it with a couple of my buddies, and to just piggyback, Eranga kind of spiked me there. It's like I went on a pub crawl to 4 bars with probably 50 people. There was probably 60 people, and I knew 10 of them. I met 40 new people that were all there for the same reason, to have a drink, hang out, and just enjoy. So like, shout out Wolvie Fan for putting that together. And whether I knew a couple people that were on it that weren't even drinking. They just wanted to be around and a part of the vibes. And it was like a group of 45, 50 people sticking together, going from bar to bar while walking, being like, yeah, you remember first appearance of, Giant Size X-Men? And like, I was just drinking it in. I was like, I love it here. This is great. Yeah. These are my people. So the bub crawl was awesome. And I think, like Eranga said, there's levels to it from beginning to end, and it's such a welcoming community. So if you are looking for a place to come and connect, I can promise you, if you come to OAX, you're going to want to buy something, but just coming to connect and meet new people, it's a really great experience.
It's really a mistake to dismiss it as highbrow.
You're right.
I think you need to make the trip to see what it's like and to see what the people there are like, and the joy that's there, and how far you can make your money stretch there. It's not.
There's a lot of free things there too, like like the trading cards. If you went to the Magic event, you would have walked out with a whole bunch of new Magic cards that were completely
free.
Yep. Absolutely. Free sketches. I mean, for an hour and a half or 4 hours if you're a dance table.
Tony was sketching until they turned the lights off.
I think I sketched for like 2.5 to 3 hours. I mean, it's a bunch of art school kids that are there. Like, I'm gonna turn away these kids that are, starving college kids. I'm not gonna turn them away. I just kept doing it. It was fun. One more thing before 2019, the second ever commission I ever got was from one of these gentlemen right here.
Oh wow!
It's like the second ever commission. It's still on my wall. Jay Lee was my first. 2019 New York City was Dave. So I had the opportunity. Let's put it up there.
That was a great cable.
It is a great cable. I have a bigger one from Dave now, but that was a good one as an entry point.
Dave did a full figure MODOK commission for me back in like 2005 or 6. And every now and then I'll go on Instagram and it's someone else got his commission image as a tattoo at least once or twice a year. The MODOK, his MODOK.
Wow.
Wow, very strange.
You should make a collection of those. I mean, that's like that's high endorsement right there.
That's awesome. Kasra, what about you? What advice?
Advice?
Would you give to maybe just someone like a new collector coming?
I don't. Well, obviously, I would love everyone to try it out. OAX. I think it's a great starter show. It's a great show if you're jaded and feel like throwing everything you own into a fire pit. I think it's really good for everyone. Everyone, frankly, I don't know if that sounds arrogant.
Yeah, I think if you show up on empty, there's a good chance you leave full.
Yeah. What I would, I guess, I don't know. I'll say this, that you can come to the show and you can treat it like other shows that you've been to, and you can go to your 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 or 12 target tables. But OAX is a show you go to every table. You go to every table. You talk to every person. So shed your skin, all the presumptions, all the sort of autonomic kind of stuff that you do. Great. And you're no longer in a typical setting. It's everyone's handpicked. Sorry, take that for what it will. I'm not saying it's successful. Everyone is there. Everyone is handpicked. IAX show is as much for David Finch as it is for someone attending. It's for the other artists there to go over and enjoy the special galleries. The whole thing is just made for flow. Flow. I guess that's my advice. Flow.
I like it. I think for me, some things I've reflected on, because there's all learning, right? The first year I attended, I learned from it, and then I learned from this one. I wished I would have planned more time to be with other collectors as someone who had a booth and was creating content. While I was there, there's people that I wished I would have designated time to be with and get to know more. Kasra, I know you're going to hate hearing this. I still didn't get to all the rooms again.
Oh no, everyone's saying that. No one knew where anything was. I mean, the only place they knew where the bathrooms were. It didn't matter.
I did have that. Well, not even just that. Like somehow I didn't leave my booth and take a left and get to Steve. I didn't really get to look at your booth. I didn't get to look at Jose's booth, which is what I'm most mad about. So disappointed. I didn't really get to spend time at Matt's booth. It's just it's a time management thing. Sleep more. It's always one. Even if I could just sleep another hour, just it would make for a better overall experience. I actually slept 7 minutes before the Magic the Gathering, and that 7 minutes made all the difference.
I saw you walk in. I saw you come out the elevator, walk in the room, and then like about 7 minutes later, you're like, "All right, I'm here for Magic." I'm like, "You slept? That was fast."
I did, and it made all the difference. So if you see me looking puffy-eyed and tired, I am, but the energy just keeps you going, right? In the entire event, but get plenty of sleep. I think would be another great bit of advice. Definitely pre-show commissions. It just relieves a lot of pressure if you're wanting to get art, to know that it's already done, that all you have to do is go have a moment with the artist and pick it up. It's just, it's a huge relief. So I encourage you to strongly do that. It's good. Just take advantage of it. Yeah.
I got one for, if I'm last, for some advice. I think it would be really awesome to go with a plan, because it seems like it goes by so fast and you don't have time for everything. And one thing I would say is go on like something like Comic Art Fans, or look at the artists when they're announced, and just look at their art. Go online, find their art, see what what they have, get familiar with them, and then when you attend the event, it's going to be that much more that much more enjoyable, because you already know who they are. I always relate everything to music, and when you go to a concert and the songs that the band's playing, you seem to enjoy it more. Like, you could sing along for it. So if you know the artists and you explore it, maybe just don't go for the headliners. Look at all of the names
Mhm.
and see all their art. And then when it's familiar, you're going to have a better experience and it's going to be very memorable. So I think, going there with a plan and familiarizing yourself before, good.
Great advice.
Great advice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Anton Dennison, first of all, thank you for the super chat. He asked, what would you guys like to see at OAX 2026? Who wants to take that one first?
An extra day, one extra day.
Ah.
I want halls open on Friday so I can see everything.
Second that one.
Yeah. A forced intermission where anyone at an artist table can go walk around. So it's like, a half an hour, just like everybody.
Oh, I like that.
So it's like an intermission. Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like-
then you go to another artist table and they're not at their
They're
table
not
either.
I've been
We
to a
can
few
do that.
cons where they do exhibitor hour and you get like half-hour exhibitors only to walk around. Usually it's at the beginning of the day, but I love an intermission where everybody can use the bathroom and exhibitor pass only. You get to like meet other artists and talk art talk. It would be solid. That would be fun. And I think maybe a little more padding between events. I felt a little strapped, even like getting up to Magic, like I was missing something somewhere that there was no time to rest or eat or freshen up as much as
I did.
wished.
I left the auction early in preparation for getting up too.
I will also say that's every con. Normally there's things overlapping, so you just kind of choose to ignore it, but there was nothing I wanted to ignore at this con. I wanted to do every event. And if you're gonna do every event, I wish there was a little more padding.
So yeah, I've got like 50 bullet points to talk to the team about on Tuesday during our weekly meeting. And like the auction, I like to start at 6 instead of 5:30, so that there's more time there. We're going to limit the number of lots in the auction probably to 70, so that it ends at 7:45 or no later. We'll do something. And everyone wants a 3-day show, and we have ideas about how to make it a 3-day show that we'll probably implement in 26. So I think everyone will be happy.
Nice.
I saw a comment earlier where there was a request for more things for kids specifically.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do like a kid AX, like which is like a hall just for kids, where of some sort? I don't know.
Cartoon art?
What's that?
Cartoon art?
Cartoon art, or just like interactive art is really what I was
So
thinking.
you did the teaching thing actually
Brushes,
too. I like, it'd be nice to have, sketch cards is one way to keep art alive for the future generations, and generate new artists. So we have the future Dans and the future Daves and everybody, to carry on good art. So not everybody's just doing Gen AI like later on. So maybe like a teaching event, or just letting them get some crayons and art paint themselves. Because original art doesn't have to be other people's original art. You can go there and make your own art as a kid too. So maybe something like that to, bring them in, let the kids stay there, but instead of with iPads and their phones and touching things like that, they can paint themselves. It'd be quite cool.
Yeah, there's some pretty good.
How about a video arcade? Because that's on my plans for next year.
The DDR machine.
Oh, I had my son there.
EDR, Guitar Hero.
They would have loved that. Yeah.
I want the 4-player arcade X-Men game, and see me in my booth.
I have that.
You won't
Matt.
see me in my booth. I will be working.
I have that arcade in my place.
If you give me that or Time Crisis with the 2 guns, it's all over. I won't be working. So I don't know if we can do that.
Kasra, I think.
Who do you play? Wait, who's your
I
character?
plan this idea a little bit more.
I've thought about it. I got it, Eranga. I got it. And I'm also going to put it next to the special galleries to make sure people go to the special galleries.
I'll bring my
There you
X-Men
go.
arcade for you, Matt, next year. So
I feel like Matt's a Magneto guy.
Yeah.
Who do you play in that game?
I actually play Nightcrawler.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
okay. I play Cyclops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
play Nightcrawler.
Ruben is asking for you to go ahead and announce the date for OAX 2026. By the way.
Oh, sure. It's February 20th to 22nd.
Oh, we already know that.
Nice.
Yeah, I already negotiated it.
Wow. Can you say it again?
Sure. February 20th, which is the Friday for the VIP reception, and possibly other stuff, hint, hint, and the Saturday, the 21st, Sunday, the 22nd. So February 20th to 22nd, 2026. It'll
That's
definitely
good to
be
hear.
warmer. They're building an outdoor pavilion That's 7,200 square foot, right behind where the outdoor reception is by the lake, where formerly the employee parking lot. And we hope to move the some of the events out there and then expand the show floor. So where the auction was this year in IAX is going to be one gigantic show floor, incomparably to the size of the main show floor.
Wow. Wow.
Coming
By
from
the
New
way,
York, before it was warm. It was warm there.
Channel versus
Steve,
CAF.
thank you.
Did we just break that on Justin's channel before CAF?
Say it again. Say it again. What'd you say?
I was like, did we just break the news of OAX 2026 on your channel before we did on CAF?
I've told like 200 people, but that's not that many.
That's not that many. Well, I blame the cold weather this time on Tony Perna bringing it from Canada. It's really his fault. You know,
Not Dave. Dave gets a pass.
No, Dave didn't bring it last year. So we have evidence it's not his fault.
That's right.
Because I came from New York that Friday, and it was it felt warm compared to how New York was at that moment.
Yeah,
It's like
Steve,
2
when I went,
degrees.
it was 4.
Yeah,
so I
it
was
was
like
like
happy.
yeah.
It was wild. Driving through the ice storm to get to Orlando was wild. But I mean, they shut down I-10, Interstate 10.
That was crazy.
So that is the most southern interstate, by the way, in case you were wondering. Like, for that to get shut down with an ice storm is unheard of. But we got there. It was still a great show. Furnace says he wore shorts the whole time.
Yeah, for me, real quick, I think what I'd like to see is, I think, to piggyback off what Dave said, what Eranga mentioned is, like, I would subscribe to the Comic Art Fans YouTube channel, because that's where you are going to see a lot of the artists launch their pre-show commissions, and that is where you are going to get those pre-done pieces that are going to be done at the studio that you can pick up. So, like I said, for me, it's terrible when somebody walks up to me and they're like, I'd love a 9x12 torso from DeMio, and it's the first part of day 1, or I'm sorry, it's first morning of day 2. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, there's just no time. So I would really like, what I would like to see more of is just the community kind of keying in on the Comic Art Fans YouTube channel when we start to launch artists for pre-shows, because that's where you're going to really make sure, like, you're going to, like, I think Justin said earlier, you kind of like check some boxes off the list before you even get there. So then that frees you up the time to see, because as you're hearing from Dan, from Steve, from Dave, doesn't artist, collector, dealer, anything in between, there's so much to see and there's so much to consume and to do. So I think, really, I would say us putting more focus behind the pre-shows and giving, the artists the ability to take the pre-shows further in advance to, be able to take more pieces. I think it would be great for everybody in general. And Eranga showed his, so I wanted to show mine. Dave, I don't know if you remember this one.
Oh, sick.
Wow.
That's awesome. Wow.
That's a great.
Great to see.
Is it coming through the page? Like,
Yeah, you just walk right out and lop your head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
golly, that's
He's
awesome.
gonna deal death. Deal death to you.
And I gotta say, like, OAX is like the only show. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know of any other convention, any of the bigger conventions, that is the central hub for you to get pre-show commissions from. Because at every other show, it's fractured. You have to try to find the artists, reach out to them on social media or their reps and see if they even are taking pre-show commissions, set them up, da-da-da-da-da. Whereas with this show, there's like a central hub where you can look at who's taking pre-show commissions, fill in a form, send it out, pay, and be done with it. And it's
You're
like
exactly right.
back of your mind.
I think that's actually a really good point, Eranga. I'm glad you say that too, because that's like with Comic Art Fans. I know Kasra, and Bill trying to take this, what a fragmented community it can be and put it all together. So there it is the place to go to for commissions or art or finding. And I know that's like the vision that Kasra has with CAF and OAX as an extension of that too. So I'm glad you make that point. Yeah, that's an awesome one.
I love this. Perna saying an OAX exclusive coloring book is specifically for kids. What if you did like a reverse sketch card situation where you gave out sketch card blanks to attendees and they had to do a sketch and then turn it in for a sketch? Not to replace the free sketch card event, but like, let's say you were going to pick 15 winners but it was their entry was turned in a sketch and you're selecting from that to get people to draw who maybe
I like
normally
that.
wouldn't.
I remember Dan, you did something like that.
I think you should administer the entire event, Justin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you pull out all the sketch cards and you judge the top 15. That's all.
Yeah. That's
Well, it doesn't
really
mean the
cool. I
best
like
one.
Go for it, brother.
Dan,
But
no,
get
Dan, do you
people
remember when you
creating.
did your thing before your set came out? You had like the Spider-Man Venom, and it was like put
Yeah.
your quote inside of there, and you submitted that.
Oh,
Remember?
I'm
Damn,
blanking
yeah.
on that. Wait, what?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You had people fill in the bubble.
Oh,
on
yeah.
Venom and Spider.
Oh, on
Yeah.
vacation. Yeah.
I love, that was so cool. Like,
Yeah,
something
that
like that, like a little challenge, like letting them, that was just like a quote for it. But, the same thing, like fill in the sketch and turn that in, and then you judge the best one.
I don't know if any of you guys were at Miller's on Saturday night when someone started drawing on a placemat, and I'm talking like artists, right? Like people whose names you know, and someone would draw a doodle, and then the other one would just draw a squiggly line, and the next artist had to use that squiggly line
Oh, wow.
and create something, and then someone else drew. There were like 8 or 9 placemats done. I'll mention one name. Marco Rudy used red wine to like do these splashes on it, and he came up with the most like creative little thing. But it wasn't an organized event, and most of these people weren't even together. They didn't even come there together. They just saw someone working on it, and they were like, "Hey, I'll add something to it." So I don't know who ended up getting those placemats. I think I know who got them. But someone walked away with a bounty. Now, they weren't like superheroes or anything like that, but they were goofy. But it was like proper dudes getting to draw on that. So, I mean, just random stuff that happens.
Gil
when
Kane's
you're there.
grandkid was there then. Yeah.
Who was?
Gil Kane's grandchild. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a bad joke. So,
Oh.
No, I also think too, one thing that somebody said in the comments, and I forgot, I was gonna put this on advice. Bring a portfolio.
Yeah.
Bring a portfolio, please. Because there's and I understand there's a lot of newer collectors, but like the artist or the dealer, they're very unlikely to have bags and top loaders and things to protect your art, once you've bought it. So I would firmly recommend go on Amazon, iToya, buy a portfolio, 11 by 17 fits in a backpack, 9 by 12. If you're doing sketch cards or, however you want to bring your one touches or whatever it is, because I would just highly recommend, I saw somebody said, what about top loaders or something like that? I would just recommend if you're coming to the show, bring a portfolio.
And I was going to say, you said 11 by 17. I'll go a step further. Do not bring 11 by 17. Bring a 13 by 19.
Well, because then if it's A3.
DiTullio represents these guys who draw on European A3.
That's my bad.
And they're the most annoying things to try to fit into an 11 by 17 because it looks like it should, but it's 11 and a half. But yeah, so bring a 13.
11 inches or 11
19.
centimeters?
Well, Simone just asked me actually, because we had like 3 or 4 people that were like, I only brought 11 by 17 top loader. I'm like, well, it's A3. And they're like, what's that mean? I'm like, it's Italian 11 by 17. So it's not.
it's Italian for Vaffanculo.
Your regular portfolio.
So I told them, I'm like, could you, we either need to make a decision. Either I just start bringing bags, or you just buy different Bristol board and actually use American 11 by 17 and we won't have a problem. He was like, I think you should start bringing bags. Like, all right, you got it. No.
A3 proportions are a little better, I gotta say.
That's what he
11 by 17 is too narrow.
That's what he said.
Or come to my booth. I have extra top loaders for everybody.
There you go. Steve, one step ahead.
I don't think that was ever advertised.
Just confirming, same location for OAX in 2026.
It is, yeah. It's same convention
Great.
center, same hotel, the DoubleTree by Hilton at the entrance to Universal.
Beautiful.
It's amazing,
Well,
man.
yeah, guys, I don't know. Do y'all have any other thoughts or questions you want to express? Don't want to leave the stream without making mention of?
Yeah, I can't wait till next year.
Yeah, I mean, I
Looking forward
think
to it already.
I'll go first. Like I said, I just want to say thank you to Bill and Kasra, the CAF team, putting this thing together, but also thank you to all the artists. They're handpicked, and you come and to auction off back-to-back David Finch Walking Dead covers was a surreal moment. To auction off a Dan Dos Santos sketch card, a Gerhardt Cerber. I mean, these are things that I don't even get to look at in person, let alone ask people for their money towards these things. And all the artists that came either had amazing pieces, or they had something in the auction that was just stunning. I think maybe something that got overlooked because they can get a little long, guys. I understand, but the people that stayed towards the end, Dan, you were there towards the end. Some of the stuff that came out a little bit late.
The late stuff was the best.
It was crazy, and I just really am thankful for the team that put it on, the hard work that went into it, and all of the artists that took time out of their schedule to come and come to a show. I'll say it for the right reasons. We know financial, and it was, hopefully be, a good event, but I saw a lot of moments being created and a lot of moments being had at this show. I had one for me personally where one of my buddies, longtime collector from Buffalo, came in, and he had his daughter with him, and it was her first show, and we were chatting, and she got her first piece of original art. I gave her a little Ash from the key animator from Pokemon, and she knew exactly who it was. She took it, and then she asked if she could take a picture with me, and it was just something I'll never forget. This is not a convention where you roll in, grab your commissions, snap a quick photo, and hit the road. You're going up and you're talking to an artist. They're giving you lessons, details, reasoning behind what you got. And I'm just very thankful to be a part of it in the smallest way, and for the people to build it and keep it going, but also for all the artists that attended. And I was just overall, I felt very grateful. I was exhausted by the end of it, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. And I was so thankful for everybody that was able to attend or exhibit, because it's hard work for everyone. And I was just very thankful overall. So that was it for me.
And imagine if the Bills would have won at the end on Sunday.
And guys, I don't even want to get too far into it,
man. After that eloquent.
I don't want to get too far into it, but I'm also a Dallas Mavericks fan, and we just traded Luka Doncic for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I can't have any nice things. I'm dead now.
Well, it's because you're overly blessed in the art space.
I did so well in here that I needed to lose a couple things.
Adesanya got knocked out because of you, DiTullio, too. You know that, right?
The parlay didn't hit when Adesanya got knocked out.
Yeah, I know.
On that note, guys, I have to go run and tuck the boys in. So thanks for having me.
Thank
you so much, man. Dan, you made it an amazing event. Thank you so much.
It was my honor to be there. Thanks for having me, Kasra. And
talk to you, Dan. Yeah, thank you so much.
It was a great time. Thanks. See you all soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
I did.
All right, guys. Any other thoughts you want to share before we kick this off?
I think I would see a lot more if I didn't spend a lot of time playing Magic with Dan, because we just whenever we get together, let's play a game of Magic, and then then time just goes by.
Oh, look at this, guys. Jeremiah says, as our first ever vacation, 9 years of marriage, this was the best experience ever.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
First ever vacation. Wow.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Jeremiah. Super helpful. Right? Incredible. I think I saw him helping take down your booth too.
Yeah, no, Jeremiah. Do my parents love you, Jeremiah? My mom does. That guy's awesome. They want to be your best friends. So thank you for all the help that you gave them, and thanks for everything else.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? They were so incredible during the Magic the Gathering as well. Jeremiah, you helped make the show more special than you can imagine. Thank you so much, you and Sonia.
The only thing that's happening is I get off-color jokes in my head. I'll keep it to
Wrong channel, Kasra.
Right.
I'm just saying, 9 months from now, Kasra's a great name for a baby.
He's a great. Just name your kid after him. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. They might have been staying at the villa. No, look. First of all,
any pregnancies happening in the villa?
Who knows? I do. I
We'll
want to
know
take.
right around this time next year.
It's
I do want
like,
to take
I
a
feel like I
moment
missed out.
and what's that, bud?
Sorry, I just said I feel like I missed out on the shenanigans.
Yeah, the villa shenanigans. I do want to take a moment and especially shout out Steve and Jose and Matt. What you guys have done to elevate our hobby, particularly Marvel trading cards, through CAX at OAX. The impact you're having is monumental, and I don't know they can be understated. The next levels that has helped taking it, and the amount of work that it takes is just insane. And I don't know that you get the payoff you deserve, and not only enjoying the event to its fullest, but the payoff of the appreciation from collectors. And I hope some way my words right now is helping with that. But you
No,
guys are incredible.
I do feel it. I feel the appreciation. Then, thanks Kasra for giving Jose and I a shot at, being part of his brainchild in the beginning. Anyways, couldn't, he provided the platform for us, and we just really, brought our art there and our friends. So thank you for that chance, Kasra. I think I do feel, and I do agree with you, Justin. Like that, it's all elevated. I feel like it's a culture that I wasn't able to be part of for a long time. Like it's a gap that I had. I did it on my own, and now I feel like it's a culture, a community that is growing and getting more energy and momentum day by day. And proud to be part of all of it, and with everybody. And I didn't get my payout because the next day I pulled a Spider-Man 101 Avengers, so that was nice. That was a nice payout. But no, that's just as the card. It's the people and the artists and everything around it too. So thank you for the kind words, and thank you for the appreciation too.
Oh, 100%. Every bit of it's deserved, and so.
I don't think Justin gives himself enough credit for being.
Yeah, I think you're a huge influence on this all too, man. You're bringing us all together on the digital form with all this, man.
It's the easiest thing I get to do is hang out with my friends and talk about something that we all really love and enjoy, and it's I'm speechless. I don't know how to say it. The fact that you guys are even here right now on the channel means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. I just want to honor it as best I can.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, it's very personal, and like Eranga said, I agree with him for bringing us all together. I mean, you guys have been to my house before, like you and Kasra, and it's not too many people that come over here, much less like hang out here and for hours and hours and hours, and like do all the fun things we get to do with the art. So it's incredible. You guys are definitely more than just fellow collectors. That's for sure.
Dear friends, 100%, 100%. Jeremiah, we love you guys. I hope you know that. I think you do. So, all right, well, guys, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you follow Comic Art Fans on YouTube and Instagram. Go check out their website. Make sure you're a member there too. The amount of art that's on Comic Art Fans, I don't know that you can spend the whole year looking through all of it. It's insane, the amount of original.
And there's a new mobile app too that works great for it.
There is a great new mobile app, which is I use to upload my art. So if I can do it, you have no excuse. Please consider doing it, guys. The being in creating content. I got to say this. I'm sorry. The amount of content coming out for OAX on YouTube right now is amazing. I love seeing it. We need more people creating content and sharing it because. Kasra, how many people were there at the event? Are you allowed to say? Is that a number you can put out there?
Oh, sure. I'm actually putting a press release together for next week. The overall number of attendees, everyone, exhibitors, is about 900.
Beautiful. That's a lot of people. There's still tens of thousands of people that get to experience this event through content, and many of them don't have the ability to ever attend. Mm-hmm. So please create it and put it out there. Put your content out there for them to enjoy. You being in creation makes a difference, and so I appreciate each one of you that are doing that. I know it means a lot to Kasra, but it means a lot to the community at large as well.
Yeah, I think. Are you guys ready for this? OAX so very special. If you compare 900, which is amazing. There's a lot of community out there that I think are going to hear about it through those channels. New York Comic Con last year had 200,000 people. That's a lot of and I bet many of them, if they see this or they hear about it, they're gonna want to be part of it too. So I guess I could say get ready, guys, because I feel it's gonna get big.
Yeah, no doubt. It's that ball feels like it's rolling down the hill for sure.
Yeah. It's exciting.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.